Okay guys, this is my first time using one of these screen capture programs, so I'm hoping it's gonna work out. My first video on the Lexus hybrid gearbox raised a few questions, so I'm hoping that I'll be able to use some of these animations here to kind of give you guys a better idea as to what is actually going on inside the transmission itself. So, having a look here, let me see if I can. I think there's a kind of a rotational view on this thing. Oh yeah, there we go. So if I get a kind of a side view, I guess the first thing to note is that we've our two motors. In this here, they're designated MG1 and MG2, standing for motor generator. And attached to each one, in the kind of green here and kind of greeny bluey here, is a planetary kind of a gearbox drivetrain gear system, I suppose. Now, what's important to note in this particular setup is that MG1 has got a gear reduction system. I believe in the original Toyota hybrid systems, MG1 did not have this green planetary gear system here, which meant that the speed at which one could drive the gearbox output was severely limited due to the rotational speed limit of MG1. So what this does for us is it lets us go to much higher output shaft speed while keeping the input shaft from the engine completely locked stationary, which is an important aspect of what we're going to be doing. So just looking around it, I guess it's kind of neat to see. But I'm not going to get into trying to describe how these planetary gear systems work in this particular segment. I just want to try to show you guys what's going on within the gearbox itself. So, in the normal hybrid drive setup, the MG1 never drives the vehicle at all. MG1 is used as a starter motor to start the internal combustion engine. And if I click on that here, we'll see a little animation of that procedure going on here. So this would be MG1 motoring, and if we click over here, we'll see MG1 basically being used as a generator. As I say, in this typical Toyota hybrid setup, it never actually drives the output shaft at all. So most of, or indeed all of, the electric drive is done by MG2. Now, the thing I want you guys to notice here are these two brakes, brake 1 and brake 2. Now what's important here, and is, as far as I'm aware, different to most other Toyota hybrid systems, is that there is indeed a 2-speed gear system here. A high and a low speed. I'm not sure of the ratios. I'll have to check that, but we can actually see that happening here in one of the animations. So if I click on MG2 drives vehicle low, we'll see that this brake 2 engages here, which causes the gear train to run in a certain way, and MG2 is now driving the vehicle forward. So it's also, as we'll see here, causing MG1 to turn, even though the internal combustion engine is completely stopped. Now, if we now go to, let's see, where is it? MG2 drives vehicle high. We'll see brake 1 engage and brake 2 disengage, and the drivetrain here will completely change its setup. So let's go ahead and click on that, and we'll see brake 1 has now completely engaged and brake 2 has completely disengaged, meaning that we've now got a higher, or I should say, sorry, a lower ratio. So we're now driving in a higher rate. Okay, so as we can see, we're now driving with a much higher gear here. Now, if I just stop this animation here for a second, we can have a look, hopefully, at this part here around MG. And if we have a look at the MG1 and the internal combustion engine side of things here, it's going to be kind of tricky to picture this because I can't make the animation do what I'm kind of going to want it to do. And that is, if you kind of picture this blue shaft here from the engine, if we lock that shaft solid, and if we were to motor MG1, so I'll just click on MG1 starting here. It might kind of make a little bit of sense. If we have a look at the blue part that's now turning here, so we have this central shaft and this blue planet gear going around inside the ring gear. Now, if you could picture this, what would actually happen if we locked that blue shaft, then this planet gear would stop turning and it would force the green ring gear to turn, and we could indeed drive the vehicle through MG1, but have a very excuse me, a very low ratio here of gearing, so we would get quite a lot of torque out of it. It might be possible if I go to that animation there, it might kind of make a little bit of sense. If you can just, I suppose, ignore the engine shaft turning here, but we would be turning MG1, turning the ring gear, which then would be turning MG2 and this entire system here. So this is kind of what we're trying to achieve, guys, but at least I'm kind of learning how all this stuff works myself. It's not something that I'm at all expert at. I'm just trying to get my own head around it. So hopefully that will have cleared up some of the questions that arose from the last video, and I hope now fairly soon to be actually doing some work on the gearbox, and we'll be back soon for that. But just again to recap, this Lexus gearbox that I'm playing with does indeed have a 2-speed electrically actuated reduction drive. It has two internal permanent magnet electric motors, 3-phase AC, oil cooled, with a oil to water heat exchanger, external hydraulic pump to run the clutches and brakes, and is pretty much, if we just chop off this blue bit here, a completely self-contained drivetrain, transmission, gearbox, cooling system, parking pole. Basically, I suppose to my initial thinking at this point, it ticks pretty much every box that someone that's doing a conversion could actually look for. So, okay folks, stay with us, and we'll be back with some more videos on this particular topic, and indeed lots more topics also. So thanks for watching, and we'll be back soon.